Alright, first video didn't work out so well. We're trying to try again. Ready? Darth Swarming Eve. This is by Follow Focus. I'm going to try and read the best I can, but I'm not going to expect much. Okay. Ready? 'Twas the midmost of winter, and into the town was a place where laughter and cheer could be found. Ponies roamed through the streets with smiles on their faces, seeing bakeries, toy stores, and other neat places. They dashed store to store as quick as could be, in search for some gifts to put under the tree. They bought toys for their kids, such as frisbees and jump ropes, slinkies and robots, as well as bath soaps. What? Mare looked around at the ponies and smirked, thinking Celestia that this is how the economy worked. Buyers went from their spending, off on their spending. The markets were storming, but there was still much to prepare for this year's hearthwarming. Princess Twilight was out, mid-morning stroll, smiling to herself as the bells began to toll. She and her friends cantered all down the street, bringing tidings of joy to every pony they greet. The ponies waved back to the Princess Twilight's relief, as the holiday spirit had banished their grief. But not everyone was happy, to Twilight's surprise, for before her was a filly with tears in her eyes. She sat on a curb, something clear eating at her, so Twilight trotted to her to see what was the matter. "Hello, little girl," she said, looking down. "What cause do you have to wear such a frown?" She said to the princess and said with a sniff, "I don't have any friends to give any gifts." Twilight smiled and said, "Now there's no need to cry. You can join our patrol and walk by my side. Together we can go and spread cheer this place, perhaps helping others will put a smile on that face." The filly agreed with a vigorous nod and eagerly leapt to the side of the broad. And so they continued, spreading joy where they could, as all the filly feelings turned to good. They traveled to town. The joy stayed the same, but that was the moment that the Empire came. The ponies stopped in their tracks and looked to the heavens, and watched in horror as the Imperial ships descended. TIE fighters rained down from the sky at the angle, launching out of the Star Destroyer, the mighty Triangle. An Imperial shuttle descended out of the air and landed in middle of Ponyville Square. Twilight was awestruck. Pinkie had a fit. Rarity fainted, and Pink Rainbow Dash lost her shit. "I don't believe my eyes," said Applejack the farmer, as out of the ship emerged troops in ghostly white armor. Then out of the shuttle came a man so unpleasant, who stared at the ponies with their toys and their presents. His suit was black as his soul was inside. His heart gave no love, only hatred it supplied. The man began to speak, with his voice booming loud, to the frightful little ponies that were in the crowd. He said, "Hear my words, ponies, and quiver with fear, for I know the day of hearth-warming draws near. It brings you great joy to share these toys, these presents, but this is something simply unfitting for such lowly peasants." He shook his fist in the air with a motion so perturbing. "I find your lack of sorrow and gloom quite disturbing. You intend to spread cheer with these gifts you have now. That is something that I simply cannot allow. So I'm taking these gifts, and I'm taking your trees, for I'm bringing an end to the festive disease." And he signaled to his troops with lethal intention as they pointed their guns in the pony's direction. They fired into the crowd as Darth lowered his fist, but not a pony was harmed, for their shots had all missed. The Sith watched his troops as they stormed through the village, stealing decorations, toys, and anything else they could pillage. The stormtroopers returned with a motion not subtle. They had stuffed the decorations and gifts in the shuttle. It's not easy to do, sorry. There would be no celebration like the ones in the past, for this year he had stolen hearth-warming at last. But something was wrong, he felt so dejected. Stealing the holidays brought him less joy than expected. He had accomplished his mission, but he couldn't tell why. He felt so alone and empty inside. He had everything that he wanted at the pony's expense, but he still wasn't happy. It didn't make sense. Then he felt something stranger, a tug at his leg. He looked down and saw a filly who was starting to beg. "Excuse me, mister," she said with a frown. "Why have you stolen all the gifts from every pony in town?" He stared at the girl and said to himself, "I am claiming these toys and these gifts for myself." The little girl heard him, became quite confused. "That's not how toys are supposed to be used. They are meant to be given to loved ones with care, for the best gift of all is the one that you share." Vader looked at her sadly and said with a sigh, I don't have anyone that will stand by my side, not one companion, not a single ally. The only friends I have are me, myself, and I. And Philly gasped at his words, and she pitied his sorrow, for he didn't have friends to share hearth warming with tomorrow. They both had no friends. She was all alone too. It was then that she realized what Princess Twilight would do. It was the only solution that she could comprehend. She looked at the man, said, I'll be your friend. He looked at the girl and saw a smile was forming. Tomorrow you and I can share hearth warming. It's hearth warming. This is not easy to do. He looked at her sadly and said, I'm afraid it can't be, for I've stolen every ornament, present, and tree. There won't be hearth warming this year, I'm afraid. But the girl shook her head and began to explain. Hearth warming is not about what's under the tree, it's about the connection between you and me. It's about building a friendship that the whole world can share and feeding the fire with all love we can spare. So please, Mr. Vader, she spoke from the heart, please don't try and tear our friendship apart. She gave him a hug with kindness unsuppressed, as the strange tingling feeling made its way to Darth's chest. Something happened to him that he couldn't ignore, for he felt something inside him that he never felt before. It was love that he felt. It was through and through. She had sparked something in him. He knew this to be true. So in an instant they dashed to the shuttle so quick, and they turned on all the systems and gave the engines a kick. They flew into the town and landed back in the square, then brought all the gifts with the greatest of care. He returned every gift to the ponies with glee, then he pulled out the ornaments and lastly the tree. Some faces were puzzled, and were stony as he spoke to the crowd. Gather around, every pony. I am sorry to say that I have made a great error by stealing these gifts and spreading nothing but terror. But today I am hoping to bring that to an end. Can you find room in your hearts to forgive me, my friends? The ponies all cheat, much to Lord Vader's surprise, and each pony embraced him with joys in their eyes. The celebration with the joy he ignited for once in his life, Darth Vader felt delighted. It surprised him at first how his mood had changed, that he felt even better with every gift he exchanged. The last pony he greeted that day was the filly, and he knelt down beside her with an expression so silly. He said, I can never repay you enough for this favor, but here's my gift to you. It's your very own lightsaber. She accepted the gift and returned an embrace, a hug that brought tears of joy to Darth's face. For Vader had learned quite and indeed that his anger and power was nothing more than a weed. The key to happiness, he learned this day, was to love all your neighbors the old pony way. Oy, that was not easy to read. Oy. Well, the story was by Follow Focus. Look up Star Wars crossovers as the Christmas one. But yeah, actually, I actually felt like I was reading a Grinch story there. Anyway, I tried, did my best. I probably sucked at it. I wouldn't be surprised. But yeah, I know it's a little late, but I never got a chance to do this yet, so I decided to give it a shot. Alright, well, I guess this is it. And Darth Vader, not Darth Vader. Sorry, Darth Redbeard out.